Now, Love Listings was your VH1 show.
Yeah.
So now it's like, how did that come about?
I came about because I wanted to be a real estate agent, and then I was good friends with Katrina at school, and they call her Taz, and she was like my aunt. And then I was good friends with Ty Savage, and I'm like, I was hanging out with them a lot. And I was like me, Janae, Cole, I was around that circle, and then I'm like, I was friendly Suge. He's like, oh, that's Suge. Suge's cool, and we were all on positive. And then we got to do the pilot, and it was my first show to work on and to help pitch. And we pitched that. We pitched it. They first wanted me to go against my dad, not them, but like the network. So with the first network production company, they're like, we love it, but we want you to. They wanted me to pretty much explain myself, like, oh, my dad wasn't there, and I'm mad at him, and you know what I'm saying? It was like, dude, like, I had a choice. Like, I can throw my dad under the bus, or I could tell the truth and tell my perspective and how I really feel about things. Because people often think like, oh, his dad, was all over the place and everything like that. And it's like, that ain't the case. No, he was a family dude, but his life was kind of like in shambles. So he was probably stressed out. I have a different perspective of it. So when I seen that production company was just trying to have me exploit me, I made it all the way to the interview, and I'm like, I flipped it on their ass. So how do you feel about your dad? He's great. I think I had a whole different way of angle. He's a great guy. People just don't understand him. I humanized my father. Made people see a different side of it. That's why the show was so impactful, because people never saw Suge in a father mode. People never saw Suge as a human. They just saw him as a myth. Then that's why the show was like booming. And then I noticed that I started seeing the politics, because people behind the scenes were like, they didn't want that. They're like, no, that's not what we wanted. And next thing you know, I had to figure out, okay, I got a taste of the entertainment industry. I said Tupac was alive. I did that bullshit. I ain't gonna lie, it was some bullshit. But as soon as I said Tupac was alive, I had shocked the world. I made our fucking budget go from like a couple 100,000 to like a couple million. And next thing you know, people were just kissing my ass like, hey, Suge. Boosted us up, got us to season 2 of Love Listings. And it's like, once I started learning how to work entertainment, I'm like, oh shit, this is now I understand my father. Now I understand every other celebrity into this entertainment life, how they work it. Because behind the scenes, it's a whole different battle. You go from like, shut your ass up, you ain't doing nothing. You just shook like something. To like, hey, Suge, how's it going? I don't want this person here on set with me. Can we have somebody else? It's the shift. And it's like, what? Then I had the power. I started bringing the people on. How you think RJ got onto the Love Listing show? How you think a lot of Empire artists get into these shows? I ain't knocking them, but it's like I started having a say. No, we need LA artists onto this show. We need to have these influencers onto this show. We need the broadcast was real, because for a long time they was putting LA as like Hollywood, and it would be people we didn't even know.
It'd be people that was from Atlanta.
And moved to LA. Exactly. Yeah. So it's like that whole political circle things, how things go. I kind of call it like the Puffy tactic, because Puffy will come from New York and come to LA and then make it LA his own circle. That's why the freak offs is not LA people. It's people that's not from LA, and the people who wasn't the freak offs from LA is this selected few that went through a whole lot of bullshit to be there, and they are part of the problem. Because we wasn't on that. Ain't nobody, for a long time, you used to hear people like, they not letting the real niggas in the club. And they used to just label it as everybody's a game manger or everybody's aggressive. No, it's politics and it's circles. So once I got that power and understood how that stuff worked, I knew how to play my role. And I think that's my only little issue with Snoop Dogg. And maybe he has his own political beefs, why he doesn't want to work with the Knights. Other than that, I digress. It ain't beef. It's just more like play your role. I play our role. Bet we can make.